The house stood alone, shrouded in an eerie silence that seemed to stretch for miles. At the very end of Elm Street, where the streetlights flickered and the air grew colder, it was a looming presence, a Victorian mansion with peeling paint and boarded windows standing as a testament to a forgotten era. The house had been empty for decades, its once vibrant garden now overgrown with weeds. Locals whispered stories, each more chilling than the last. They spoke of strange noises at night, sounds that echoed through the empty halls and sent shivers down the spine. Unexplained lights flickered in the windows, casting ghostly shadows that danced on the walls. Children were warned to stay away, their parents recounting tales of those who ventured too close and never returned the same. The house on Elm Street was not a place for the living. It was a place where the past lingered, refusing to let go. It was a place of whispers where the wind carried secrets and the shadows seemed to move with a life of their own, a place of fear that gripped the heart. Some said it was haunted by a family who met an unfortunate end within its walls, their spirits trapped in an endless loop of sorrow. Others claimed it was a portal to another dimension, a place where the veil between the living and the dead was thin and the boundaries of reality blurred. Whatever the truth, the house on Elm Street remained an unsettling enigma, a mystery that no one dared to solve. It cast a long shadow over the town, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of the ordinary. A darkness that was always watching, always waiting.
Emma was different. New to the town, she was a young woman with a thirst for adventure. She scoffed at superstition. She didn't believe in ghosts or haunted houses. To her, the stories were nothing more than folklore, exaggerated tales meant to scare children. Emma was determined to prove the rumors wrong.
The old house fascinated her. Its dilapidated grandeur hinted at a rich history, a time when laughter echoed through its halls and life thrived within its walls. Now it stood silent, shrouded in an eerie stillness. Emma saw not a haunted house, but a puzzle to be solved, a mystery to unravel. She decided to explore the abandoned house on Elm Street.
As Emma stepped inside, the air grew heavy, almost suffocating, as if the house itself was closing in on her. A chill ran down her spine, making her shiver involuntarily, her breath catching in her throat. The scent of decay hung in the air, a pungent reminder of the house's long abandonment, filling her with dread. Musty furniture lay draped in dust sheets, untouched for years, adding to the eerie ambience, as if time itself had stopped. Cobwebs clung to every corner, their intricate patterns a testament to the house's neglect, like the web of a sinister spider. Shadows danced in the dim light filtering through cracks in the boarded windows, creating ghostly figures on the walls, watching her every move. The house creaked and groaned around her, as if protesting her presence, each sound amplifying her fear. It was as if the very structure was alive, breathing in shallow, ragged breaths, echoing her own anxious breathing, a sinister symphony.
Despite the unsettling atmosphere, Emma pressed on, driven by a mix of curiosity and a growing sense of dread. She wandered through the darkened rooms, her footsteps echoing in the silence, each step amplifying her sense of isolation and fear. Each room seemed to hold a whisper of the past, filled with remnants of lives once lived, now ghostly echoes. A faded tapestry on a wall, a cracked porcelain doll lying abandoned on a rocking horse, all relics of a forgotten time, now haunting reminders. As Emma ventured deeper into the house, the feeling of unease grew stronger, wrapping around her like a cold, invisible cloak, suffocating her. The air seemed to crackle with an unseen energy, a static charge that made the hairs on her arms stand on end as if something unseen was watching. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, too faint to understand, yet undeniably present, as if the house itself was trying to communicate with her, a sinister message from the beyond.
The attic was the most unsettling of all. A single bare bulb cast long, distorted shadows across the cluttered space. Trunks overflowed with forgotten belongings. A rocking chair swayed gently in the breeze, despite all the windows being sealed shut. And then Emma saw it, a flicker of movement out of the corner of her eye. A tall, shadowy figure standing in the far corner of the attic.
The figure was indistinct, its features obscured by the dim light and the swirling dust motes. It seemed to be watching her, its presence both menacing and mournful. Fear tightened its grip on Emma's chest, but curiosity warred with her instinct to flee. Who or what was this shadowy figure lurking in the attic? Was it merely a trick of the light or something more sinister? Trapped confrontation in the attic. Taking a deep breath, Emma stepped forward. Her flashlight beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the figure. It didn't move. It just stood there, shrouded in shadow.
As I drew closer, I could have sworn I heard a whisper, soft and low like a sigh on the wind. It seemed to come from the figure itself, beckoning me closer.
Suddenly, the attic door slammed shut behind her. The sound reverberated through the house, breaking the silence like a gunshot. Emma spun around, her heart pounding in her chest. The old wooden door was now firmly shut, seemingly bolted from the outside. She was trapped, alone in the attic with the shadowy figure. Panic welled up inside her.
Was this a game? Who else was in the house?
Fragmented memories, Emma's escape. The figure moved towards her slowly, deliberately. Its features were still shrouded in shadow, but Emma could sense its eyes fixed upon her. Fear threatened to overwhelm her. She backed away, her hand frantically searching for the doorknob. It was no use, she was trapped.
And then everything went black. The last thing I remembered was a feeling of icy dread, a sensation of falling, then nothing.
When Emma regained consciousness, she was outside, lying on the overgrown lawn in front of the house. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the overgrown yard. The lingering Fear Elm Street's shadow, a tale of terror that refuses to fade. She sat up, her head spinning, her body trembling uncontrollably. The room felt like it was closing in on her, shadows dancing on the walls. She had no memory of how she got outside. The fog seemed to wrap around her, suffocating her thoughts, leaving her in a state of confusion. No recollection of what happened after the attic door slammed shut. The sound still echoed in her mind, a haunting reminder of the unknown. The details of her encounter with the shadowy figure were lost. It was as if her mind had erased the horror to protect her sanity, erased from her mind like a nightmare fading with the dawn. Yet the fear remained, a constant companion in the light of day. All that remained was a bone-deep fear, a fear that gnawed at her soul, refusing to let go, a lingering sense of dread that clung to her like a shroud. It was as if the house had marked her, leaving an indelible impression.
I never returned to the house on Elm Street. The memories were too painful, too vivid. The experience left an indelible mark on my psyche. Every creak, every shadow reminded me of that night. I couldn't shake the feeling that something evil lurked within those walls, something ancient and powerful. It was as if the house itself was alive, feeding on fear, something that preyed on the fears of the living. It thrived in the darkness, waiting for its next victim.
The house on Elm Street remained a constant in her nightmares. A place where reality and terror intertwined, a symbol of the unknown terror that awaited her in the darkness. A reminder that some fears never truly fade. Section 8. The Power of Belief, the town's perspective. When Emma told her story, the townspeople weren't surprised. They had heard it all before. Every generation had its skeptics, those who dared to challenge the legends, and the house on Elm Street always had a way of reminding them that some things are best left undisturbed.
The house on Elm Street was more than just a dilapidated building. It was a symbol, a representation of the darkness that existed on the fringes of our lives. It was a reminder that fear, like a seed, could take root and grow, fueled by stories whispered in the dead of night, perpetuated by a collective belief in the unseen.
Section 9. The hauntings grip, Emma's departure. Emma couldn't stay in the town. The whispers followed her. The knowing looks, the unspoken accusations. It was as if the house had marked her, branded her with its darkness.
I packed my belongings and left, seeking solace in a place where the shadows of Elm Street couldn't reach me, a place where the whispers were silenced by the noise of the city, but the fear remained. It lingered in the back of my mind, a constant reminder of the fragility of my sanity. The experience had changed me, shattered my skepticism, forced me to confront the possibility that some things defied explanation. Some doors were best left unopened, Some secrets were best left buried.
Section 10. Unanswered questions. The mystery remains. The house on Elm Street still stands, a silent sentinel at the edge of town, a testament to the enduring power of fear. The mystery of the shadowy figure in the attic remains unsolved. Was it a ghost? A figment of Emma's imagination, or something else entirely? The answers, like the house itself, are shrouded in darkness, lost in the whispers of the wind. The house on Elm Street is a reminder that some questions are best left unanswered. Some mysteries are best left unexplored. For in the pursuit of truth, one might stumble upon something far more terrifying, something that could shatter the very foundations of their reality. Section 11. The enduring presence. Elm Street's legacy. The house on Elm Street is more than just a haunted house. It is a symbol of the unknown, a representation of the darkness that lurks at the edge of our perception. It is a reminder that some things cannot be explained, only experienced. And the memory of those experiences can haunt us long after the event itself has faded into the recesses of our minds. The house on Elm Street stands as a haunting reminder, a reminder that some places hold a power that defies explanation, a power that can shape our beliefs, challenge our perceptions, and leave us forever changed.